The woke sections of the LGBTQ community in India has a blind spot. And that blind spot is Hindutva. Despite Hindutva's open support for the LGBTQ community,
लेकिन वो है तो समाज के अंग, उनकी व्यवस्था करने का काम, ये फिर से मैं कहता हूं, समाज ने करना चाहिए.
My view is probably the Delhi High Court judgment was more correct.
Justice Shah's, which decriminalized.
I tend to agree with that judgment more.
We see on the regular a deep-seated hatred for Hindus, Hindu culture, and Hindutva.
Please be a little less homophobic and a little less sexist. It's classist. It's a list. Yeah, it's a long list.
Why is that? Well, that's what this video is about. So as Marvin Gaye says,
let's get it on. Sugar.
Hello and welcome back to this English video on the Sham Sharma Show Global channel. I am Sham Sharma, the CEO of Secularism, and to all of you, a secular man. So June is celebrated as Pride Month around the world. It is a vibrant celebration of a vibrant community that has not been able to freely express themselves for centuries in many parts of the world. And I am happy that today they feel empowered and free enough to be just as cringe as the heterosexuals.
Am I sexist? Yes. Why? Because of my experiences of the world. I am a realist. I am absolutely and utterly a realist.
I love the chase. Narwhals swimming in the ocean, pretty big and pretty wide.
Yeah. You gotta love equality. The LGBTQ community has been embraced wholeheartedly in pockets of India and much more widely in the Western world. And while all of us that celebrate freedom, mutual respect, individual liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are very happy that the LGBTQ community are finally getting their rights, there is an issue, a blind spot that I want to address. I think this blind spot is a blemish on the otherwise inspiring and brilliant story of the LGBTQ community. See, if you're from India, I'm sure you've seen photos and videos of pride marches around the country. And I'm sure among the parades you've also noticed that the LGBTQ groups that participate in these parades tend to direct their anger towards one particular group. Is it the group that is honor killing them and throwing them off roofs? Is it the group that catfishes gay people just to beat the brakes off of them? Well, those are very good guesses, but unfortunately you are wrong. No, the anger is mainly directed towards the biggest threat that the LGBTQ community has apparently ever faced, Hindutva. The pride parades around India are littered with anti-Hindu and anti-Hindutva posters and symbols. If you attend a pride parade, you're very likely to hear an anti-Hindu or an anti-Hindutva slogan. Which is funny because meanwhile, Indian temples be like,
बच्चे, तुम जिस स्कूल में पढ़ते हो हम उसके हेडमास्टर रह चुके हैं.
See, I'm not denying that LGBTQ groups have faced disadvantages and discrimination in India. They 100% have. Hell, there was even a British-era law in India that straight up criminalized homosexuality. But for anybody who has been honestly studying India over the last few years, you cannot deny that the Hindu community's attitude towards the LGBTQ community has either been one of acceptance or of indifference. You do you, I'll do me. It sounded sexual. On top of that, the Hindu civilization has had a long history of assimilation of the LGBTQ community into the broader Hindu community. India has the concept of the Ardhanarishwar, where the masculine and the feminine energy of the universe are basically inseparable from each other. There are LGBTQ characters in major Indian epics. There are entire festivals in different parts of the country that are centered around LGBTQ communities. I know that Hindutva leaders have said bigoted things in the past, but whether you like it or not, it was under the Hindu Hindutva BJP government that homosexuality in India got decriminalized. In the last few years, we have seen the RSS, one of the biggest Hindutva organizations in India, that has openly called for the integration of the LGBTQ community into the broader Indian society. The RSS has also called for the legalization of homosexuality. In fact, at the latest Kumbh Mela, a dedicated LGBTQ akhada was also set up. For people that don't know, Kumbh Mela is one of the most sacred congregations for the Hindu population of India. And in fact, at this Kumbh Mela, many devotees came specifically to get the blessings from the LGBTQ akhada. In fact, the big bad Hindu nationalists have even set up transgender welfare boards to uplift the community. And they are taking concrete steps to bring the LGBTQ community into the economic and cultural mainstream of the country. But what is curious is that despite all of these tangible steps, the LGBTQ community single out the Hindu community and the Hindutva ideology as their biggest enemy. And not just that, any LGBTQ member who shows any sort of love for the Hindu community or for the Hindutva movement is also singled out and attacked by the woke LGBTQ community. In fact, any LGBTQ members who shows any love for Indian culture and Hindutva or Dharma is actually labeled a homo-nationalist. I didn't notice that the LGBTQ community had basically become the Vatican. I didn't realize that the LGBTQ community had their own All India Queer Personal Law Board. That if you disagree with the woke narrative, you are going to be declared an apostate and banished. For a community that can't stop talking about how all colors are welcome under their rainbow, they sure seem to have a huge problem with the color orange. But you'll be happy to know that the LGBTQ community seems to have no problems with the color green. Not only do you see a deep-seated hatred for Hindu culture and Hindutva in these parades, you also see a great level of love and support for pure, unadulterated Islamism and anti-India elements. You can hear chants of Kashmir Mange Azadi at pride parades in India.
Really?
It's funny because Hindu majority Delhi and Mumbai don't seem to have any problems with lavish pride parades. But remember what happened after the abrogation of Article 370 when an LGBTQ group tried to organize a pride parade in Srinagar. This group was showered with abuses, all kinds of abuses, every color under the rainbow. They also received horrific death threats. And in fact, the group that tried to organize the pride parade in Kashmir was handily abused by other LGBTQ groups. This is the same situation if Black Bucks took out a rally in support of Salman Khan. In fact, it gets worse. At a Mumbai Pride Parade, we were able to hear chants in favor of Sharjeel Imam, a committed Islamist who once tried to cut off the Northeast from the rest of India to teach the government of India a lesson. Sharjeel be like, thanks bro, और हम आपको भी जहन्नुम तक ले जाएंगे.
मुझे माफ कर देना.
All of this, despite the fact that it was mainly Muslim and Christian groups that opposed the decriminalization of homosexuality in India. Despite the fact that Muslim countries often top the list of countries that are considered the most dangerous countries for the LGBTQ community. Out of the top 10 most dangerous countries for LGBTQ travelers, 7 countries are either Muslim majority countries or are heavily influenced by Sharia law. And this problem, this blind spot, is not an Indian blind spot. I'm sure you've seen pictures and videos from pride rallies outside of India as well, where you have people holding posters saying gays for Palestine, which is funny, which is ironic because gays get no protection in Gaza. In fact, Hamas, the Islamist Palestinian rulers of Gaza, maintain a law criminalizing homosexuality, a crime which is punishable by 10 years in prison. I mean, this is literally chickens for KFC.
But wait, this is chicken, yeah? It's a chicken?
Shashi Tharoor for celibacy, Mahua Moitra for silence, BJP workers for Mamta Banerjee. And what's even more sinister is that corporations are able to use this blind spot of the LGBTQ community quite brilliantly, where they're able to get support from the woke LGBTQ community while at the same time being able to do business and being able to make their products in countries which have a horrific record for LGBTQ rights. I know we continue to work with China, who has a horrible track record for LGBTQ community, but look at our Twitter photo. We are totally
Gay!
They've used this strategy to get the woke LGBTQ community off their backs. They'll make a beautiful ad about how wonderful and liberating the hijab is and how it works so beautifully with the LGBTQ community, while at the same time they can have their products manufactured in a country that literally has put 2 million Muslims in concentration camps. One rainbow flag on their Twitter, and they can continue to do business in some of the worst countries in the world for the LGBTQ community. It's like the woke LGBTQ community are cats. They get angry at you, but then corporations jingle this LGBTQ flag in front of them.
Oh my God, what are they doing? Why are they trying to publicly humiliate me like this? I mean, what's the purpose? Oh, shiny red ball.
Peter, watch out!
And they completely forget what they were angry about. But then the question becomes, why do sections of the LGBTQ population, particularly the woke population, why do they have this blind spot when it comes to the Muslim community and when it comes to Hindutva? See, I think the main culprit for this is woke LGBTQ ideology, which is derived from postmodern studies, which takes a big amount of inspiration from Marxism. See, the woke LGBTQ movement believes that the entire society is governed through power structures and oppression. According to this theory, the heterosexual patriarchy, particularly the white patriarchy or the Hindu patriarchy, oppresses all people. But for some miraculous reason, the Muslim patriarchy is exempted, because the Muslim patriarchy has been able to convince the wokes that Muslims are simply victims like them of capitalism, imperialism, militarism, exploitation, and religious bigotry. As you can probably understand if you know anything about India and Indian history, because of the stranglehold of postmodernists and Marxists on the education system in India, woke and leftist groups in India see Muslims the same way, as oppressed and abused by the heterosexual Hindu Brahminical patriarchy. As a result of which, Ashraf upper caste Muslims in India are able to claim the same level of victimhood as the LGBTQ community and the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, who, by the way, have faced actual, real, historical oppression in India. Seriously, if you think about it, this is a bigger scam than the Koila scam. This is a bigger scam than the Commonwealth Games scam. This is a bigger scam than the scam that the people pulled who were able to raise crores of rupees to make Love Story 2050.
Come on, Sana, कभी तो yes कहो. तुम्हारा नाम सना है? Yes. तुम यहाँ रहती हो? Yes. तुम करण के साथ घूमने जाओगी? Yes.
तुम यहाँ से जा रहे हो?
Yes. No.
बंद करो हाथ जोड़ के मैं मोदी साहब से गुजारिश करता हूँ.
And what's funny and at the same time really unfortunate is that the Hindus, because of decolonial studies, because of postmodernism, are painted as the oppressive patriarchy in India as well as the oppressive patriarchy in America, where they have actually faced discrimination at the hands of the white patriarchy, as well as the woke left. And ultimately, I feel that because of this blind spot, certain woke sections of the LGBTQ community are more interested in virtue signaling in countries where they're already safe, instead of truly fighting for the rights of the LGBTQ community in countries where they face actual serious oppression. Countries like Iran, countries like Pakistan, countries like Saudi Arabia, Somalia, and many, many more. Sadly, because of this blind spot, the LGBTQ community in Muslim countries have been completely abandoned by the woke left. And don't you think that fighting for those people... Look, I'm not part of the LGBTQ community, so I understand if this sounds like a lecture. I just wanted to point out a blind spot within the community that I believe could use some attention. And I want to hear from you as well. If you are from the LGBTQ community watching this video, I want to ask you, do you agree with my assessment? Do you have any problems? Whatever your opinions are, please let me know in the comment section down below. And in general as well, I want to ask all of you, do you agree with the premise of this video? Why do you think the Muslim community gets a free pass from the woke LGBTQ community? Let me know in the comment section down below as well. And if you want me to make more English content on the global channel, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you like today's video, make sure to leave a like, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section as well. Share this video as widely as possible. Happy Pride Month to everybody who's celebrating. And if you want to help the show reach a broader, bigger audience, please become a patron or a member on the YouTube as well. All the links are in the description of this video. Other than that, thank you very much for joining me today. I will see you again for another English video. Until then, I have been the CEO of Secularism. You have been an amazing audience. I will see you next time. And until then, to all of you, a secular pranam.